Well, as we've talked about many times here on Channel 4, hurricane season is in full swing. Today I'm joined by Barry Goldsmith, who's the Warning Coordination Meteorologist at the National Weather Service in Brownsville, and Mark Hanna of the Insurance Council of Texas. Gentlemen, thank you both for joining me today.
Good afternoon.
Yep. So we're now in peak hurricane season here across the Atlantic Basin, but when is the peak really for the Rio Grande Valley, and what should people be doing to prepare for hurricane season?
So the peak for the Rio Grande Valley is now through the end of September. Then things quiet down rapidly in early October. So now's the time to wrap up any preparedness that hasn't been done. We typically like that to be done in May into June, but now that it's quiet, take advantage of the time to wrap things up. Your stay plan, your go plan, all the things that you would need, whether you stay or go, to be ready in case a hurricane strike comes later in September.
And Mark, what should people be doing in terms of insurance to make sure that their properties are protected?
You know, we don't have to look back very far. Hurricane Harvey a year ago. And you look at that, and there were so many people uninsured. It was because they had no flood insurance. And when you have 40, 50, and 60 inches of rain, you have a lot of flooding. So we highly consider that people take a look, call their insurance agent, inquire about purchasing flood insurance.
So is flooding the biggest concern that we have here in the Rio Grande Valley with one of these types of hurricanes?
It's the biggest concern we have for really every weather event. As we saw in June, there was no named storm, no named anything, and yet we had rainfall that was in some areas above Beulah, that was in Weslaco, and near Beulah, that was in McAllen. It doesn't take much to bring tropical moisture here to the Rio Grande Valley. So for the valley-wide, yes, flooding is number one, but if you live near the coast, in Cameron County, Willacy County, we still have to be concerned with wind and storm surge as well.
And Mark, so you've mentioned Harvey was a kind of a bellwether event. We're about 1 year removed now from Harvey. What have we learned from this event?
Well, we learned how many people are uninsured. Obviously, it was a windstorm with 155-mile-an-hour wind gusts, and it greatly impacted Rockport and Port Aransas and the area around there, but it became a huge rain event, and the rains continued on and on and on. And we know that it's going to flood any designated floodplain, and we have them all along the beach and everywhere else inside the state. A lot of people think it's not going to flood outside a designated floodplain, and in Harvey we found out that is so wrong. More than half of the homes that flooded were outside designated floodplains.
And Barry, I know that Harvey was such a big event for areas just to our north, but the recent flooding that we had here may have been just as big.
It was very big. In fact, it was greater than Dolly in some areas, and many people that are watching would remember Dolly. It was greater than Beulah in Weslaco. In fact, the record event rainfall we've had going back to 1914 in Weslaco, it just shows that it doesn't take a hurricane to know which way the water flows. We just need to have the atmosphere playing in the right way to produce that kind of rainfall. I want to add about Harvey. While it was doing all of its rainfall in Houston, Galveston, Beaumont, Port Arthur, it was a tropical storm. It was a category nada.
Yep, and that's right. So thank you guys both for joining us today, and thank you for that great information.